Hi. Hey, everyone. My name is Sydney Lai, and I am, hey, Felipe. I'm here with Metacartel, and I'm just going to share a few metrics for those who are looking to build and apply for a grant, all right? I'm going to try my best to save time towards the end for some Q&A. If I talk a little fast, I apologize in advance. I'm just trying to input as much information as I physically and humanly possible. So who is this talk designed for? It's primarily for solo devs or small teams who haven't fundraised yet. So if you've already fundraised, you're probably a little bit farther along than what we're looking for. So there's 3 things that you guys are going to learn today. Number 1 is, what are the metrics that we as DAO grants are looking for specifically at Metacartel? Number 2, I'm going to share how I personally ship quickly. I won't speak for other folks. And then number 3, the importance of reputation. And I think that's actually really unique and specific in the DAO ecosystem and, more or less in traditional VC fundraising. And why me specifically? I'm a developer advocate. I love building integrations, working with other toolings, in both in Web 2 and Web 3. I am also obsessed with helping people build whatever they envision. So if you need money, a firstborn child, resources, technical documentations, I got you. I'll give them to you. Please ship and make it happen. And I think that's why we are a part of Metacartel grants specifically, because we want to see you guys succeed. And we also feel like this warm, spicy sense inside when everyone is succeeding together as an ecosystem. So today, I'm going to cover the metrics that I think is going to be really, really relevant during your build early on in this ecosystem. So these are the metrics that are the most common ones that you see of typically. But these metrics are really for VC fundraising. And what we're going to mention today is the 3 specific metrics that is actually most relevant when you are applying for grants that are not equity bounded, right? So what that means is, here's some money, take it, run. We don't need anything from you besides love. And the one metric that I just mentioned is community. So community is oftentimes conflated with users. We have 40 followers on Twitter. We have 10,000 people on Telegram. Great. That's not a community. A community are 3 things that I like to propose. Number 1 is that they have a shared purpose. So what is their purpose of being there? Just because they are following you doesn't mean that they are there with a shared purpose. Number 2 is that there needs to be a place for them to gather. Again, if your MVP is a Discord, then great. That works perfectly fine. If they are just hanging out on your Discord, they are users. It's not necessarily a community. And then number 3 is that there should be some sort of incentive creation baked in. One example is within Raid Guild, there's an incentive where you have paladins and other raiders. There's different roles that you play. And for you to be able to succeed on a specific client, you all have to come together and work on a client together rather than, okay, here is a community, a bunch of followers inside a Discord. And that's one metric that we hold very, very true and dear to us, especially within the DAO ecosystem. Number 2, we care a lot about the founders. So ideas change and pivot all the time. You have different bubbles, different waves, anywhere from DeFi to NFTs to whatever it is. If your idea changed, that is okay. But the idea is that the founders needs to be consistent. And then with that being said, the founders also need to be able to ship it. It's one if you can just talk about it, but if you're able to prove and ship something, then that's great. You can talk hey, I can do social tokens or a developer tool, but if you've never built a developer tool or you have no idea how content creators work, or you don't know one, that's not going to be super relevant. Number 3 is the reputation piece itself. Reputation is definitely, it's a metric in the sense of it's a qualitative metric, and you can also see the metric being achieved if you even have a single vote on chain. And so what that means is if you come in and you just randomly post on a discussion page or DAO house or whatever it is for a proposal, if no one knows what you're proposing or they don't know what the context is or they don't know who you are, it's really unlikely that you're going to get your proposal passed. Another thing is if you don't really know other community members, there's another way you can have reputation. Maybe you're new to the space, maybe you're a bit more quiet and you don't really go to the conferences and most people haven't heard of you. That is okay. You can kind of bypass the first reputation metric with the idea that you can at least ship something, you have some sort of MVP, you can showcase that you have been able to build something before. And number 3, this... Okay, who likes McDonald's? Okay, for those who didn't raise their hands, why don't you like McDonald's? And I think, so here's the point, right? It's disgusting. But as a kid, did you like McDonald's? Exactly, I got you right there. Because the reputation changes, right? McDonald's can say how awesome they are, and you can really start to love McDonald's. But if you and all your friends say like, McDonald's is super gross, it's super lame, why would you go there? Only 3 brave people, I see you girl, raising their hands, it hasn't, no matter what other people say, it hasn't really changed your reputation. So that right there is an example of like, it's not about what you say about yourself or what the company says about themselves. It's about what other people in the space says about you. And whether that's right or wrong, McDonald's, that's one of the metrics to be considerate of. So I'm going to go through 2 case studies that implements the 3 metrics that we talked about. Do you remember what it was, McDonald's guy? Yeah, you. Do you remember the metrics? The guy who didn't like McDonald's? No? Okay, it was community. Reputation, good. Founders! Oh, founders, you almost got it. I'm going to pretend you get it. You'll get a hug after this talk. So we're going to go through 2 case studies that actually went through Metacartel and got grant funding. Number 1 is Menti DAO. Anybody? Does anyone like Pokemon? Is it just me? Okay, y'all lying, Pokemon's sick. So Menti DAO is a platform that allows any developers, non-developers, folks in the ecosystem who wants to launch their own DAO around collectibles. So Menti DAO has a Pokemon DAO, they have a baseball card DAO, and now you guys are interested, right? There's like, whatever other DAOs there are around collectibles where they put the valuable item on chain and then they hold it as an asset, right? So number 1, what that means is that this community isn't just like, hey, this sounds sick, I'm gonna follow your Twitter. It's a bunch of nerds on Discord like, hey, do you wanna trade? Can we put this on chain? How much was that coughing for? Like, they're actually engaging. They wanna do box drops, stuff like that. You get to kind of see the difference between followers and community members. There's a difference, right? Yeah, okay, the guy in the back, he's like, yeah. All right, so another thing is, if you don't have founders yet, I'll show you guys in the next slide. Number 2, Menti DAO, I mean, look, if you were a CTO at Bloom, fine, it's like automatic stamp of approval. And then number 3, we hadn't heard about the guy before. He wasn't really involved in this space, but luckily there was another DAO member who really was like, hey, this guy's awesome, this project is amazing, I highly recommend. And so someone had like a guardian angel, and this really worked out. Number 2 is Lee Finance. So Lee Finance is a B2B, DeFi integration tool. And so what that means is that at this early stage, it doesn't actually make sense for a community, especially if you're just directly selling to other businesses. So what we actually considered was 2 other the metrics of the 3 main metrics that we really care about. Number 1 is like, look at this founder stuff. This is like 17 centuries in crypto. Right? That's 6 years of building something together, shipping something together, crying something, wanting to stab each other, and yet they still stick together, fundraise, close their company together, and that is what's lasting, not so much just the idea or just the MVP itself. And number 3, I remember when they had pitched to the DAO, we were like, okay, do we give them a grant? I'm not really sure. I don't even know what this is. And then someone spoke up and was like, hey, I do get this space. I actually think this is a really good idea. You should really give them a chance. And they are just crushing it now. They closed their seed. They're now, raising a series. I think they're on track to raising another round. So what does it mean? You're like, okay, there's just so many grants. There's so many grants in this space. How do I even compete? There's already so many products. What do I do in an oversaturated market? Have you guys heard of MetaMask? Of course. So what did I do? I was like, all right, I'm just going to build something that already exists. I'm going to try to onboard users in a different way. So one of the first ways I looked into it was all the different types of toolings that were out there. This is just Web 2 alone, right? And I got started in Ruby on Rails, which is so not relevant anymore. But one of the tools, so now I do Python, but one of the things that, yeah, not PHP though, but one of the things that I use personally is this Web 2 predominantly. It's a Web 2 IDE where you can build web and mobile applications on also interoperable with Web 3. So it's protocol agnostic, and it's the tool is called OutSystems. So here you can see is a Ethereum wallet, and on the right hand side is your folder structure, so you can build both front end and back end. So one of the things I used was the BlockCipher API connector as just a test wallet to see can I first build a wallet. Number 2, can I make it a native app? Number 3, how do I send tokens to just the test wallet itself? One way here you can see is the visual representation of the logic flow. And because this IDE is AI assisted, it will show you, all right, you here in this action, you want to send a transaction. And then if you are sending the transaction, what is the next step? This logic flow will tell you, hey, because you are doing this, we would highly recommend you creating another server action or have this list appended. And so then I created the wallet and I thought, okay, I don't really need to create, obviously we don't need another crypto wallet, but it kind of depends. So I thought, okay, how do I differentiate this product now that I've at least built a product? How do I compete and how do I build this moat? Because we all know you can just copy and paste code and then you have a fork of it, right? Or you could just fork it actually. You can't copy and paste the community. That's really, really hard to copy and paste. So you have to build a moat around your baby. So I kind of pivoted. I made a gamer wallet for Web 2 folks. So I, like a psychopath, stood in front of a GameStop, which is like a place where you buy and sell used games, for 3 hours interviewing users. And that's an example of trying to find that product market fit. I then went on Reddit, tried to onboard as many visitors as I can to see if there's any interest, any downloads, any installs. And then I kind of realized there was a funnel, there was a gap in the funnel where they would come in and they would drop off and no one would really stay and use it. So what exactly was my moat? I didn't have anything. It was absolute poop. But that doesn't mean, that does not mean that you can't do it. And that's why we want you to build more awesome tooling than another crypto gaming wallet. So we would love for you to come and apply. And how do you do that? DAOs are confusing. I've never been to Metacartel. Am I going to be in jail? So here are the steps, and I'll walk you through it. 1, do not confuse grants and Metacartel ventures. Grants, no equity, free money-ish, and then you have to work for it, right? And then number 2 is Metacartel Ventures, which is traditional equity, yada, yada. So 1, discourse. You come to the discourse. This is the boring part. Okay, and then you submit an application on the discourse. I, with my eyeballs, will then read your discourse. So if you're like, Sydney, please help, come find me after this. Okay, then you join a Zoom call, another Zoom call, which we will then review your application. You'll do the demo. You'll walk us through it. We will nod. Maybe we'll turn off our video. We'll turn it back on for some questions. Go on a DAO house. Anyone? And then, go on to DAO house if we're like, yes, we will give you money. So then you put your proposal on chain, and then we're like, yay, here's some money, and here's a share to join Metacartel. And then here's the share itself. Oh, look, the Lee Finance. Well, how did that get there, right? Okay, so if you guys want to learn more about how I built with a Web 2 tool that is also blockchain interoperable, feel free to do that. And I can also help you guys. I can hold your hand. I can pull your hair back if you're vomiting because you're just so over it. Like just building with other toolings, I guess. Grants, money, I'll give it to you. You want more of it? Great, there's more. Gracias. And also questions. Thank you. I have saved 2-ish minutes for questions about money. We have a slight, like $1 under $1 million grant. So what's up? That's a great. Oh, I'm so sorry. I should repeat these questions. So
Hey, yeah, come up to ask your questions.
Oh,
yeah,
I can also just repeat. Okay, okay. So the guy who doesn't like McDonald's, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. He asked how much money. We have 1 million of it, minus like a few dollars. How much are the grant sizes? $5,000 to $10,000, or okay, I'm sorry, like DAI, Ethereum, etc. Okay, and then third question. More than one grant? I don't think I've seen that. I have seen other devs submitting more than one project, and we typically say like, "This is great that you're doing extra credit, but just like submit one assignment." Yeah. Oh, all the questions.
More questions. Come on up.
Wait. Was there? I want to democratize the questions. You want to tag? All right, you call on someone. Who?
Who's got a question?
Was there a guy over
there?
All right. Okay. All right. I just I can keep answering questions. I mean, like
okay,
after.
So are these mainly for like early stage, brand new startups? Then, if it's
brand new, they should not have previous venture fundraising. We had someone come with like $500,000, and we were like, $5,000 is nothing. So I don't know why you want $5,000, sir. With the face.
Great talk. Thanks so much. My question is, we just built our demo. We are building like 2D pixel. Space for token communities, like think CryptoPunk, Bored API clubs, whatever, and adding DeFi to that. Also, DAO actually gamified all of that. I can show
Thank you.
The demo. And my question is, do you have specific categories of projects that you're looking for?
Oh, great. Thank you so much for asking. So the question is, we have categories. So we don't typically do dev tooling. We will have guidelines of what we accept. The ones that we love the most, just absolutely adore, are the ones that are community oriented or consumer focused. Lane?
Money is awesome, but
yes.
What if I also need like mentorship or advice?
Oh,
or help building?
He was not a plant, by the way. That's a really good question. Yeah, everyone has money. There's tons of it. Okay, so besides money, there's two main things, I guess. One is you get to be a member of the DAO itself through that way instead of paying your way in. And then number two, Metacartel, as you can imagine, a lot of the members are highly skilled. Excuse me. A lot of the members, see, I already slept. A lot of the members are highly skilled as just great mentors, resource providers. If you need help fundraising, if you need help getting your product shipped, if you need help getting whatever launched, we are there to help because we are a cartel together. So when you succeed, we succeed. Yeah. And if we succeed, you also kind of succeed. Unless if you suck, then I guess maybe we kick you out. I'm just kidding. You don't. Any other questions? No more? Come and find me. I have all the answers. If I don't, I know someone who has the answers.
Guys, give it up for Sydney again. Amazing. Thank you.